Friday.
Greg has the best voice.
Well, I know. That's why he's
So good. I know. He's
No,
really
no, thank you very much, but no, I appreciate
the
it.
best.
I was uncomfortable as a Chihuahua in 6 lanes of traffic in Houston right now. For real. You just wing it.
Okay, so next segment, got your
NFL,
number.
Dallas Cowboys pre-draft, right?
No, we're gonna do got your number.
Yeah, we scratched.
Oh,
we
got your
scratched
number.
it.
Right
Oh,
before.
okay, yeah. So y'all trying to send me out left field. Thanks for the
I'm
lead.
told
We're going
Hodge.
stop.
We're moving you to that bullpen catcher spot.
Yeah, we're going
I'm
got
going to
your
the trade
number.
portal too. Like,
Yeah, his owns number 16, and then by that time Trace is coming
Weird.
at 8:15.
8:15.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
we'll have to roll into Trace and then probably do NFL after Trace. We'll
Yeah,
just kind of see. But
knowing this after battle, and then we talk
Yep.
about.
okay, we're coming up in 20 seconds. You need this mic?
I guess.
yeah, so got your number. I'll
So what
let
are we
you
doing
lead
now?
into
So I'm
the.
rolling in, right?
Yeah. I don't
And
think.
you can just talk
I
about
think
how
we
we've
get
been
embark
talking about
on that
this.
for the second hour.
Yes. We'll blame Kyle. He's into this.
Somebody's. Turn it up. Yeah.
Boom.
We're
Ready to roll?
Yeah, we are back. I was talking, but I wasn't on because I guess I just don't stop talking about random stuff, incoherence. But it's the second hour of the Hodge Pack, brought to you by Embark Land Management. Give them a call if you have any takes to build or trees to clear. I've got a lot of that, but I probably do need to talk to them and see what I could do about some stuff. I'd keep that on my to-do list. But we're back with Hodge Pack, second hour. We're going to roll into our little segment we started recently based on the interview that Hodge had with Mike Greenberg in his book, Got Your Number, with our special guest, Kyle King, who selected the number of the day. So I'm going to let him start out with why he selected number 16, and then we'll dig into it.
Well, number 16's been a king number of ours for many, many generations. I mean, it has been passed down probably 8 or 9 generations in our family. It's just, it is our number when it comes to sports.
Okay. So your personal number, your kid's number, your dad's number,
Yeah.
we're going to like all kinds
Yeah,
of. And I'm like,
kids, I mean, they all rep it well.
okay. We should have known that when we
If
had
you-
Mulligan's jerseys made. We could have put
If
that
you
on.
see a
there.
jersey with the king name on it, most likely you're going to see 16.
Okay. Well, that's good. So besides yourself, let's go like or your father, which earned enshrinement in the number 16 Hall of Fame. But who would you pick for number 16?
So my pick's a little random that most people would think. You got your obvious people, your Joe Montanas and stuff. My number 16 pick would have to be Paige Stojakovic. And the reason I say that is, after the Jordan era, there was a Sacramento Kings basketball team that was really good. They were slept on. And Paige, number 16, he'd sit in the corner and just light them up from three-point. I think he had over 1,700 threes in his career, something like that. And won a championship with the Mavericks in 2000. He was just an underrated, really good 6'10" shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of when those 7-foot shooters weren't. Well,
Kind of on the forefront of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because 16 and relating it to a basketball player, it wasn't until very recently that basketball players could even wear numbers that weren't within the one hand. You got to say it's 1-5 or 5-3, all that for flashing the score table who fouled somebody. So they made that change, and I guess Cole was the first one that I really with 8. And how I guess that still hasn't trickled down because you still at lower level basketball you still have to flash to the score table who fouled somebody. So I mean I don't know, but there's Pau Gasol also wore number 16, who was a basketball player that just like I said, you don't think of 16 as a basketball number, but now it is. So I'm going to let Misty answer, but I'm going to go into this is one of those numbers that the obvious Joe Montana popped in my mind as soon as I heard it. Like I said, I don't read the book until I see it because I I want to have my own and not just have confirmation bias. I want to dig in and do my own thing. But I also go to Baseball Reference and put in number 16 to see who had the most wins above replacement, as a baseball player at number 16. And it's kind of a weak number, when it's just.
He just called you weak.
No. In Major League Baseball, obviously,
It's not for
it's.
You
But-
just got benched.
But 18,
It
which
is though. There's not a lot going on
we
with
talked
16.
about 18 the other day. 18 also was one that in baseball just did not have a whole lot. But the two highest WAR players in baseball that wore number 16, one's a Hall of Famer by the name of Ted Lyons, who played in the 20s and 30s. So it's just he didn't have that type of career that was such that people know him on a first name basis. Like Babe is number 3, everyone still knows that, but Lou Gehrig's number 4, you still know that. That's that same era. But Ted Lyons is a Hall of Famer, and he wore number 16. And to the more modern era, it was Doc Gooden for the Giants, who had a short end career, I guess, so didn't have the opportunity to take that as far as being a Hall of Famer, but borderline. And during the 80s was with that the New York Mets, coke snorting, all of that, but a pretty good baseball team. So there wasn't a baseball player that really just stretched for that. But I always just want to kind of see where, because sometimes sometimes you see those and just kind of oh yeah, that guy. But it didn't happen. But I'm gonna let Misty go ahead and see what she thought about.
So I'm gonna keep it old school. So I'm gonna his little bio here. But my number 16 goes to Frank Gifford. He was an American football player, actor, and television sports commentator. And he was, for 27 years, he was on ABC's Monday Night Football. And here's why I picked him, because he was named to the Pro Bowl at 3 different positions. First as a defensive back, and then as an offensive halfback, and as a flanker. And so, I don't know, to me, that's super impressive when you're in on 3 different positions. And so, mine goes to Mr. Gifford.
Yeah, I guess that is one of the
Good pick.
that is a good one, and it's a kind of a curveball in the sense he is most known for being an announcer post career, but there's a lot of guys that end up going that route, and they're so good on the announcing game that you then are like, oh wait, John Madden was one of those. It was obviously a very high level coach, then became an announcer as a kid growing up, played Madden on football, so Madden was the announcer. And then when you start to dig into it, you're like, oh, wait, he was much more than that. Ditka was one of those also, that he was a coach, but he was a Hall of Fame player prior to being a coach. But you still think of Ditka as, Coach Ditka.
Well, the kids these days, I guarantee you, don't know that John Madden was a player or a head coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? They probably have zero idea that he even did that.
And you're very right. But then I think the same thing will happen to think about our kids watching a football game now, and Troy Aikman or Tony Romo is doing the announcing.
Absolutely.
And Troy Aikman's one of the highest paid in the biz right now. Got that huge deal to lead Fox and all of that. There's whole generation of people that just know Troy Aikman as the voice of was the key game in Fox. Now it's Monday Night Football, I guess. And not that he was a Hall of Fame quarterback that won 3 Super Bowls for the Cowboys, who happens to now announce games, which is obviously how we see it. There's people that will see it the other way. So Frank Gifford, I think, is one of those that I knew he played football. I did not know anything about his football career. Just heard him on TV all the time.
Yeah, same. And whenever I was kind of diving into it, I was like, wow, impressive. 3 different positions in the Pro Bowl. I mean, I don't care who you are. That's
defense and offense.
right.
That's
incredible.
Impressive. And
right.
that's something that doesn't happen anymore
Not
for
anymore,
sure.
no.
And I my first thought was Joe Montana, and Mike Greenberg agreed with me that it was Joe Montana. And really, it's one of those things that growing up at the time that I did, I remember. It's funny how a lot of my stuff, video games, comes back into play with this, but playing Tecmo Super Bowl with the 49ers at that time, where they had Jerry Rice and John Taylor and Joe Montana, Roger Craig was the running back. That in that era, obviously they won Super Bowls. They were the team of the '80s. That was just popped into my head. It was just known for comebacks, known for having that clutch. Obviously against the Cowboys, the catch that you still have to see every single year. It was predated my time of actually paying attention and knowing, but I've seen it so many times. I'm like, can we just move on? Just find something else to talk about. Much. I know, okay, so the 49ers and the Cowboys had a rivalry. It's really just the Cowboys were the 70s, the 49ers were the 80s, the Cowboys were the 90s. We both kind of took a break for a while. Now we're playing
playoff. Back, baby.
We're still on break.
Playing playoff football again.
Spoken like a true Cowboys fan.
So we have to hear about the 49ers a lot. Joe Montana was a key reason of that. I scratch that a little bit. Before Tom Brady became the official GOAT, Montana was in that conversation with Manning and Favre and some of those others that are all kind of on this Elway, which we talked about on the show before. So I still say, and there's plenty of people that will argue that Joe Montana, though not having quite the career that Brady did as far as rings, is still right up there as the greatest quarterback ever.
He's definitely number 2 on the list.
So
no brainer.
So that's our number 16 segment, and we will go to commercial break. And when we come back, we will have, I guess, My Town segment officially. I guess we're doing 2 today. I don't know what we're calling it.
We'll do all
because the wheels are off, and when Hodge is gone, it's kind of like house party. The parents left.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
The couch flipped over. Why is the lamp broke? I don't know, but we'll be right back.
Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
Please play that on the next time. We need that one. Yes, we do. That was a great segment.
I appreciate
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, that was fun.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send Josh to the video. We almost went last night. And we were and it was prime time, and we were like, we were gonna call it in.
Like normal Thursday or
normal Thursday
that takes like every year.
Yeah, you're like,
every they refused to go out on the patio when we had available. So then you have your range plus the other tables on top of it. It was a good Thursday.
yeah, that's good. That's good. Business is well done. Thank you so much for coming. Yeah, that was fun. I think it went very well. For us just winging it.
Randomly. I thought about your mom being gone and having a house party.
I love it. No, but that's what
Have it flipped over.
like, that's what's funny. Now they're thinking about that.
Yeah.
It's just the banter. It's been great, I think. And I think it always has been great.
This makes me nervous. Say a few things, and he's not nervous or play a song, talk
But being on our
but
show,
just
yeah.
like having to kind of fire back and but he does.
I just love it. Yes, I had to think. I'm sorry. Yes, we're on the show tonight because we're doing the punch party and then we're getting our faces. She told me last night.
I'm giving her RBA.
Yeah, she called me on that. I said I do. We talked about it. She said that you said that, so that made me laugh.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all.
Yes, I'll see you later.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Kyle.
What's up, y'all?
Hi, I don't think we met. I'm Christine. Nice to meet you. So we listen to you. Let y'all handle this one.
Well, I know you're an old pro at this also, right? Well,
I mean, yeah, y'all two kind of handle this one.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Some goodies to give away. Not just any goodies either. Josh Allen Rookie Hodge Pack.
You bring us back? Are you bringing us back?
Yeah. I'll do the My Town and then the My Town Sunbite, and
Okay.
then we'll roll right into it.
Okay.
You're number 16.
Yeah.
You scoot over a little bit, Josh. There you go. Now,
Oh, you got it?
Ryan can see it.
Okay.
I guess he's missing you.
Well, I've moved a lot.
Okay, in 30 seconds, we'll be rolling.
Text message coming through?
I'm tired now,
That's funny. I guess it's not you retire and then you start doing things like living home or rings in public.
so. Already plus radio career, radio career.
Yes.
No, I'm retired 2.5 months.
Yeah.
I'm not doing my phone right now.
This is my town. This is our town. It is time for my town segment. 1069, the Country Giant. Welcome you to Friday morning. And the Hodge Pack. Josh, Misty, Hodge is out there. Greg Austin filling in. And a voice you've heard in this for a long, long time. One of my amigos. Trace Michaels in the house. That's the green room goes crazy. Boom.
What's up?
How you doing, mi amigo?
I'm good, man.
Long time no talking.
Yeah, a couple months.
Man.
Yeah, he was saying he's recently retired, and as Trace mentioned, we used to listen to you on the radio talk about sports, and then Hodge filled in for you one day as things turned around, kind of went in his own direction after you moved away from sports, and Hodge decided to try to take up a little bit of that space.
So what I'm trying to say here is Hodge filled in. Look at him. I'm filling in for Hodge.
I know.
Today.
It's Wally Pitt.
Boom, dude.
Wally
See
Pitt
you,
had a
Hodge.
headache, sat out one game, and Lou Gehrig never sat out again. So. But
Super proud of Hodge when he told me that he was going to do this. So we called and asked if I wanted to come on the show. I said, I'll always come on your show. You're part of the MSP tree.
Absolutely, buddy. That's
I
right.
got those coaches that have coaching trees. Sports radio tree going on.
yeah, and I distinctly remember him filling in a few times and listening to that and how excited he was to get to do that, and the mistake he made of actually taking live phone calls, which I called in and had a killer bit that they did not know how to respond to.
And it's still that way.
Yeah.
Some things never.
But he like
That's
at the
awesome.
time it was like they caught him off guard. Him and McGraw. What I just went blank. Matt McGraw. Yes.
McGraw.
Yeah. Anyway, so that little nostalgia for y'all out there in Radio Land.
No,
Get to go
it's
back.
cool. Yeah, I was coaching at ACU at the time, so a lot of Fridays we would have some long road trips.
Right.
A lot of times we would leave in the afternoon, but there was a couple trips that we would leave early Friday morning, so I could do the show. So Ryan was always kind of a stand-in guy.
And speaking of nostalgia in sports around the Big Country area, Trace Michaels. But when you retire, you ought to go. It's like the voice of the Wiley Bulldogs, like 25,
23, 22, 23,
Well, I
something
knew it
like
was
that.
in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed listening. I'm
Thanks,
ex Wiley Bulldog.
I miss doing that. I really do miss doing that.
Josh is a Bulldog.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously heard your voice a lot
Yeah.
over the
That was
years.
great. It was a great time.
But-
That was a great couple decades. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, it was. And it was kind of you to do all that. So
And to continue on the nostalgia and the reason that you're
goodness.
here
Yeah.
because
can you do something to make me feel young?
no, because he's here to talk about baseball cards. I can't think about baseball cards. Think about the year like maybe 1992. It was when I was making sure that I was always caught up on my baseball cards. It started a little before that, but I remember just specific going through baseball card packs, studying the back of them. I teased earlier. It started back then when I'd memorize stats on baseball cards instead of the periodic table. I didn't know anything about that, but you wanted to know who led the league in home runs in 1991. I could probably tell you. I think it was Cecil Fielder. 51.
I go back. As he pointed at me, I get it. Almost. I'll tell you, mine goes back to Del Murphy. I think Del was with the Braves back in the 80s.
Yes,
86. So that's whenever I started into the baseball card connoisseur, reading the back and things like that.
And I'm sure you guys are like everybody else. You wish you still had those baseball cards from when you were in 88 or 90. Some of them
probably you could sell. You could sell some. I do have a Ken Griffey rookie card on Upper Deck, which is their first.
Really?
The first year of Upper Deck.
What do you want for it?
I don't know what it's worth. I say I know I have it. I left it in my closet at my parents' house.
I'll give it to you.
I'll double it up.
Where does your parents live? That's what I want to know. So if you don't have that Del Murphy card, you call the man who can give us one.
Yeah.
Market trading.
So Trace, tell us a little bit about what you got going on and how we can be part of it.
Yeah. So for years I've been a collector. I say years, decades now. Been a collector, especially autographed memorabilia. Just absolutely love that kind of stuff. Actually started with Hodge Rodriguez. I was at spring training, and it was a radio affiliated deal. So I had special passes, and I'm standing there, and I had a fanny pack. Remember when those were cool? Fanny packs were cool.
They still are cool, I thought.
Okay, well, I think they've come back.
Greg just never left them.
I'm so out of style, I'm come back in. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Yeah, I think the skinny ties. But I had a baseball in the fanny pack in case I met somebody cool. I'm not thinking that my favorite player ever, Hodge Rodriguez, would be the guy. He was standing right next to me. So he signed the baseball, signed the jersey I had on, took a picture with me. Super cool. Got in his Bentley, literally got in his Bentley and left. Hey, where's Hodge? Oh wow, that's a Bentley. And, so that kind of started my journey into sports memorabilia, and I've had a little bit of everything from Larry Bird jerseys to Michael Jordan basketballs. But part of the fun is chasing it and getting it, and then I also enjoy turning around and selling it. Mm-hmm. So, making a little money off of it. So I've done that for a long time, and after I wrapped up my radio career here recently, I just thought, you know what? I love sports memorabilia. I love bobbleheads. We can talk about bobbleheads if you want. You wouldn't believe how many I have. It's ridiculous and stupid. And then cards, and so I thought, you know what? This is what I absolutely love doing. So who knows how much time I have left on this earth. The rest of the time, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah, have some fun.
So I'm going to do this. And so it's been a lot of fun. The support has been great. We launched a page on Facebook, Tracer Cards. We're doing stuff like flea markets. And heck, I did something in my driveway a couple of weeks ago. People out there buying. Somebody bought a $200 Mike Trout card right on my driveway. Just all sorts of fun stuff like that. But the main reason that Ryan wanted today is because we're doing something that I don't think has ever been done here. We're doing a child-parent card break. And for those that don't know what card breaking is, do you guys know what card breaking is?
I do not. I'm looking forward to it.
And so a little bit of education. So some of the cards today get pretty expensive.
Right.
You want to buy a box of cards like the old days. You can go to Target or Walmart and get you a $7 called a hanger bag. It's just because it's hanging on the hook. But they don't put the good stuff in.
Right.
For the most part. You can get a blaster box, if they have them in stock for $25, $35. Same thing. You're not going to find all the great stuff in there. They reserve the great stuff a lot of times for hobby boxes, and that stuff can be really expensive. So what's really taken off in the last 4 or 5 years is what they call card breaking. And so we buy into a card break. They do it a lot of times on YouTube. And so, you have the Rangers, and I have the Mariners, and you have the Dodgers, and you have the Angels, and then they rip open a brand new pack, sealed pack, and then you get those cards. And so they do it via eBay auction. Some of the sites do it live right there where you just pay for your team right there. And that's the way that you can really get the team you want without having to pay for everything else.
Right.
And so you might want to get a certain team for a certain amount. Of course, more teams go for more. Like last year, the Mariners, Julio Rodriguez, the Pirates, Antonio Cruz, the Wills, Bobby Witt, Wander Franco, Tampa Bay Rays. Those 4 teams are going to have to pay for them. Mm-hmm. Well, now those rookie cards are gone.
Right.
And so now it's switched. You got Adley Rutschman, Holiday for the Orioles. Now the Orioles is the big team. So you got guys either like for me, when I get into breaks, I do a lot of Ranger stuff because that's what I turn around and sell, or PC, personally collect. But every once in a while I may jump in and see if I can't get the Warriors and see if I can get an Andrew Rutschman rookie card or something like that, to stack away. So that's what a card break is. And so we're actually going to do one this Sunday that is really focused on kids, and so I just kind of got thinking about the hobby. And here's how it started. So I was doing a little flea market deal, and I had packs to open. So I'm selling them by the packs, and some guys that I know came up there, brought their kiddos, and these 8-10-year-old kids are ripping open these packs, and it brought back the memories you guys were talking about, from the 80s and 90s, and just the joy on their face as they were pulling those packs out. And I thought, wow, this is what it's all about. So I got to do something. How do I cater to that crowd? Well, fortunately for me, there's a product saying that it's about a month or so now. It's 2023 Topps Big League Baseball, and it's really focused on the younger crowd. So you got, the card, or they have, remember the name badges. Hello, my name is. So they got to take on that, but it's very graffiti and big colors, and it really looks like a younger audience, and they do that. Topps did that set specifically to attract younger customers to card collecting, to the hobby, and so I thought, me and my son, we've ripped a lot of that big league. He's 19. We have a blast tearing that stuff open. And there was a young kid that opened 3 or 4 packs, pulled out an auto, ended up buying the whole box. Different deck. Can I get $5 more? So I thought, let's do a card break that is focused on the kiddos. Parents can participate in it as well. So just kind of started rolling with it. So we're going to be at DBAT Sunday night. You have to pre-register. We do have some spots open. And this is what's called a random team break. So instead of charging $75 for the Orioles, and $1 for the Oakland A's. That's
about right.
Or I pay you to take the A's. I'd have to pay you like $20. Instead of doing that, it's just $15 per person, and it's a random team. So we'll randomize, like a little, almost like a draft. Random.org is the website. They'll randomize the teams, and so you get a team for $15, and all the cards that come out of those hobby boxes are your cards. So every kid's going to get a pack of cards. I've done so much of this Topps Big League. I was sorting it last night. I have about 40 or 50 cards from every team, and so I'm going to sort them all out, and every kid's going to get it's going to be like 2 or 3 packs for Big League. 4 prizes. Somebody will get their entry fee back. We're going to give away a blaster box. I have a Texas Rangers autograph card that we're going to give away as a door prize. It is out of Topps Big League. I'll tell you guys off here who the player is, but I want the kiddos to be surprised. So I think it'll be a lot of fun for them. Again, $15 a spot. You can go to our Facebook page, Tracer Cards, and shoot me a message, or you can email me, tracercards@gmail.com.
Tracercards@gmail.com.
Yeah, so pretty cool.
How much money you guys got in your pocket? You're never going to believe just happen to have over here.
I don't know what that is.
How much you got in that wallet over there?
I don't carry money.
I did
come downtown. Right.
I brought you guys some presents.
It happens to be an empty Taylor Electric Cooperative bag. I was going to try to take you guys.
I'm just laughing because
What do you got?
This is so funny.
Right out of Misty's bag.
Listen, literally out of my checkbook. Y'all are gonna laugh. So I have Case Keenum's rookie card, and I have been carrying this card for a couple of years in this checkbook. Because obviously he's a wily kid,
sure,
and I may see him and be like, "Hey, I got your card."
Hold on a second.
But literally, his dad, like I see him a lot at Beltway, and I'm like, I need to give it to Steve and say, "Hey, can you just get this signed?" But this is the only card that I personally own.
Cool.
But my husband was really big into. He's got boxes. Probably in our attic. Like, just give him the trace. Like, here, he can do something with them.
Well, if you're looking, I have 4 of those autographed.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'll sell them to you.
But yeah, look at him, talking like a true businessman.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Robert Herjavec says on Shark Tank, always be selling.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the things that I wanted to focus on was some of the local players. And so I have invested heavily actually into a great stock of Case Keenum rookie cards, rookie autograph cards, relic patches cards. Got some really, really cool Colt McCoy stuff autographed on our couple of labs graded. graded cards from Colts rookie year. Got some really cool James Washington stuff from Stanford. In fact, I had to buy more because a guy came through and said, "How many of those you have there, James?" I said, "Oh, it's probably about 15 there. How much you want for all of them?" Bought them all. So I'm like, well, "Thanks a lot, pal. Now I gotta go find some more." So that's one of the things I wanted to do because I knew that some folks might want it, that kind of stuff. So having the local stuff, and I brought you guys a present.
I like presents.
Yeah, so you guys will have to fight over which one you get here.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Maybe you should just randomize it.
No, I want to fight over it.
No, I'm gonna lose.
So I've listened to the Know Your Rangers fans. Yeah, and so you're a Ranger fan, right?
I am. They just give me. I was born in Beaumont. Obviously, I have some ties to the Houston area, and I just like to get on Josh because he's not an Astros fan.
Well, you shouldn't be.
And right,
Exactly.
cheating era, all the things, and so
The trash bros.
yes,
Yeah.
so. But
Trash
yes,
can.
I do follow the Rangers more than the Astros, but I just have to get on Josh's.
So you want to know what they call the Astros in the card breaking world when you're in a room all the time? They have a name, but not the Astros. A lot of breakers call them the Astros. Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I got
So now you're in the know.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so here's what I brought you. I brought each of you, and this is Brian's fault for being gone today. But is there a higher Ranger right now than Josh Young?
No.
No.
Well on his way towards that Rookie of the Year campaign.
And the hobby world has taken notice. I mean, his skyrocketed. So all of his cards have doubled, tripled, quadrupled in value. If you want to get
So I guess wins the Rookie of the Year. That's very good for the.
yeah, it's big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so a lot of us were already stocking up on Josh Young stuff because of the increase in value anticipated should he have a good season. His bobblehead. So there's a bobblehead coming out. It's Texas Tech
May 17th.
Community. That's right. And so you got your tickets.
No, but
Okay. If you want to buy
I'm
one, I got more of them. Just kidding. So yeah, they're already pre-selling those. Season ticket holders are already pre-selling those. I've seen some $90. I mean, it's crazy. You can buy a ticket for. I think I bought my 2 tickets for like $35.
Right.
And I'm gonna get 2 of them. You know, and so I've seen people really. So anyway, Josh Young stuff is getting big. So you guys can fight over these. So got 3 Josh Young rookie cards for you. Yeah, how about that?
all right.
Ooh.
That's
So
big
last guest
time.
bring any gifts? I'm just checking.
You can
Never
come back
ceases.
anytime.
Never
So-
ceases to amaze.
No, so this is out of Topps 2023 Series 1, and if you collected cards back in the day, this kind of card kind of looks
Yes, it
familiar.
does have a.
Yeah, so this is the 35th anniversary of the old Topps look from 1988. Josh Young rookie card, so that's for one of you guys. 2023 Bowman just came out like last week, so Bowman is a great product, and so there's a Josh Young rookie card out of that. And then this is the one that you guys might fight over. So one of the what they call insert, which is cards that are just kind of different from the base card. This is the Rookie of the Year favorites card.
Ooh.
And so
Pretty.
not very many players on the Rookie of the Year favorites insert, and so Josh Young was one of them. Bowman Chrome, Josh Young Rookie of the Year favorites. So that's yours, and you guys can fight over those. And
Man, Trace.
I think there's not really a loser in that. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
so that's.
I figured
We
it's
appreciate
fun.
that
It's
very
free of
much.
you, so I brought each of you a Josh Young rookie card, so you can say that you have one, and who knows?
Yeah.
You never
That's
cease.
amazing.
You never cease to amaze us. We love you. You always got a home right here. And tell
Appreciate
us more about the Tracer card event coming up, the card break, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, sure. So if you want to get your kiddo in, it's this Sunday night, 6:30. We're going to be hosting at DBAT for us, so that's really cool. And so here's kind of how it works. $15 for your kiddo. If you're a parent and you want to participate, you can. So as mom, we got there's a family. There's father, son, 2 boys.
How
And
cool
so
is that?
granddad,
Yeah.
dad, and both sons are in break. So 3 generations. That's cool. But here's the deal. Like Greg, if you just wanted to do it, no kiddo can't get in. Because I want the kiddos to be able to get in. So
Sure.
if you have a kiddo break, or you don't even have to technically be the parent, I guess, as long as you're the guardian.
Can I borrow one of your
Greg's
kids?
gonna start stealing.
Can I borrow
You
one
can
of your
bring
kids?
Josh's twin boys, who would absolutely love that, by the way, because they're huge baseball fans.
Oh yeah, come on.
For a little while. Is that right?
And I can promise you way more than $15 worth of fun. They're gonna blast. And I got a couple surprises for the event as far as some extra stuff that we're going to be doing. So everybody in there is going to walk out with a bunch of cards.
Thank you for taking the time to pull something like that together.
Yeah,
You know, we were talking about Mulligan's a while ago and a concert behind the scenes. We all know what goes on with that. Something like this doesn't come free. There's a lot of man hours involved in pulling something like this together. So thank you so much for taking the time to do all that, Trace.
It's going to be a blast. I can't wait for all the kids to see. When I was sorting cards last night, going through all the cards I'm going to give, gosh, I didn't realize I had so much stuff. These kids are going to get like 3 packs worth of cards apiece. So that's really cool. So tracercards@gmail.com or tracercards on Facebook.
Okay.
Follow us. And then if you're into Texas Ranger bobbleheads, I have the only Texas Ranger bobblehead in the world.
Okay.
It's Texas Ranger bobbleheads or
How
at
cool is
TX
that?
Rangers BBL HDS.
I'm definitely going to give that a follow. I've got quite a few Rangers bobbleheads myself. My wife is not happy about it, but
I have 207.
I don't know.
207. I told you. So I need help. I need help.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right.
Trace, thanks for coming and
Yeah,
joining us
thanks
on a
for
Friday
having me.
morning on the Hodge Pack.
Appreciate it.
Josh, you just pick. You're the biggest
No.
fan
I
here.
take rock,
Seriously.
scissors for it.
No. Pick. I mean, I feel like
Man,
this
get the ball,
one
buddy.
should go to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Always
seriously,
like
that.
you're the biggest fan, so you take that one.
Well, thank you very much for the card.
Hey, you bet.
Yes.
You bet.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that was great.
Trace, good seeing you, bro.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Come up here anytime, man.
One of these days I'll have you guys only check out the bobblehead collection.
Absolutely, we'd love to do that, man.
All right. See you, buddy.
Good seeing you, buddy.
See you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you
Good
so
seeing
much,
you, bro.
Trace.
Yes, thank you.
Oh wait, who's the surprise? That's what you're
Oh,
talking about.
We're on Facebook.
Super cool Joe Hodge one.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, I actually pulled it out of the pack. And I was like, I know I'm doing this.
Yes, that's
Let's make this
awesome.
giveaway for the day. Yeah, Joe Hodge.
Jonah Hunt's having quite the run this year too.
Right now,
We can give Ryan that one.
he would be the starter.
Uh-huh.
So we're also going to rip an extra plaster box and a hanger bag.
Hadn't looked
Oh,
at.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. I
Yes.
love that.
Sorry, it's over. Oh, wait, it's not over.
That's such a neat idea.
I've-
Love
It's all
that.
about the excitement.
I've read just some little things like that talk about cards and the editions and things like that. It's mainly on the athletic on some of the stuff that I read. They have some baseball card stuff on there, but I'm not super knowledgeable about it. But it's very logical to me, like I was saying. But the lingo and all the stuff and how it's so different than when I was a kid. For 50 cents you could buy a pack of Topps cards that came with this bubble gum. That was
Yeah, I remember
disgusting.
that. Yes.
Yeah,
I still have
so
some of that.
Got a lot of,
unopened.
got a lot of powder on the gum. Yeah, so I know what you're talking about.
I go to whatever Market Street used to be called back then. Algebra. Before that, it was something else. I don't. But that was the grocery store that they went to, and I had a little section over there. So if I was play my cards right, my parents would let me get a pack of baseball cards for 50 cents. But back then, you could buy a 50-cent pack of baseball cards and get decent cards.
That's the only way to get them.
Yeah, just
There's some boxes. Topps Chrome Black has 4 cards and slab autograph cards, but a box is about $300.
but you know you're going to get an autograph.
Yeah,
So
but it can be.
nobody.
I love it. Like that is
I
exciting.
know
Because
it.
you
That's
like
what
me,
I was
like
going
gamble,
after.
So I
Yes.
like just not knowing what's about to
No, I
happen.
agree totally.
You get addicted to the breaks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I agree.
probably would.
I
Like,
would
'cause
too,
I
man.
do love to gamble.
Yeah, 'cause it's
My
fun.
boys aren't quite old enough yet. I mean, they can't read.
They
I mean,
would
like,
love, but
they,
yeah, his twin boys. I mean,
Right.
gosh, they love baseball,
they're 4.
and
but-
they're very good at it too. Like, even though they're only 4, I'm like, holy crap! Like when they're at their games, I mean, they're cranking the ball, and the other kids can barely swing a bat.
Yeah.
It's the
we
craziest
we
thing.
play a lot.
They practice all the time. They're the cutest little twin boys.
Yeah, when you're breaking, you're watching. And so 2023 Roman came out. I jumped in a bunch of
Uh-huh.
Pay attention.
That is awesome.
Autograph like
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
knowing
Trace.
after battle, we ran a whole segment over, which is good.
Yeah, we'll just get the draft.
We ran a whole segment over, which is fine. Like,
Right. So you want to do the,
knowing what's happening.
Yeah. you're not going to sweep her for that, do you?
I don't think they're He usually plays it off of YouTube. He said he was going to get it put in.
He hasn't given it to me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I know it's all his fault.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. When you,
When you,
oh, you didn't know.
that's not it.
That's not it?
No,
Okay, here we go. We're going to.
that was a past thing.
Welcome in to a Friday morning, 16 minutes away from 9 o'clock. Where's the last 2 hours going?
Time flies when you're having fun.
It does. That's
It's
right.
been
It does
so
have fun.
this morning. What a fun show today.
It has been fun. We you know, again in the radio world, you have those segments that you have to hit. You got to hit the top of the hour break and things like that. And legally, there's things that you must do. They'll run you out, you know. But we just went a whole segment over. We lost track of time.
We're like a marathon. We're in our 4th hour.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know
Hodge.
what's going on. What did we skip? Who knows? I don't have any notes. Hodge just texted me and like, chill out, Dad. We're not partying while you're gone.
Yeah.
I don't.
It is like that though. My
like,
parents
been on
like
my rear end
checking
about
in.
that. He's been on my rear end about these cameras over
I
there.
know.
I'm in radio. I don't even.
Hey,
I don't have.
where is he at? What is
I
he
don't
doing?
even
I think
know.
he's at the Kentucky Derby. That's where he's
He's
at.
got better to do than
He's fixing to
like,
pop up a little.
Let me find out he
critique
went
me
there without us.
through.
Without.
Boom.
Uh,
See ya.
He's so mad.
Sit down.
and he doesn't get a young rookie.
No, he doesn't. Look at here. Get your heart out.
There you go, Hodge. Enjoy whatever you're doing. Don't tell me to do my business when you're not here.
It has been one heck of a Friday morning with Misty and Josh, and I appreciate you guys letting me tag along like a scout.
Oh yeah.
We appreciate you. We always love whenever
Oh,
you know.
you're too kind.
We did this not too long ago because again, Hodge keeps leaving
Mhm.
to go to some remote location that he won't tell us about. But yeah,
Yeah,
Greg,
so-
you're you know a contender for his job for sure.
Boy, I tell you what, and you know what are we going to do whenever he does come back?
I don't
And
know.
I'm sitting in the hot seat over here.
Well, just-
It's a sad day for Hodge.
Yeah, it's going to be a sad day for Hodge, but
We decided to go a
You
different
see?
direction.
yes.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me.
And speaking of going a different direction,
Yeah, we got to
We've
get
got
back
to-
on track. Because that's the problem. Hodge texted me like, "Oh, you got to do if you want to play the sounder for the more you know, or knowing is half the battle." So we don't have a sounder because he texted me that, but we don't have time. We don't know what's going on. I mean, so pretend that there's a sounder, and I'll give you a second.
let me find something.
Yeah.
I don't know what I
Okay,
can find.
that's fine. We'll just roll with it. But anyway, as you know, every week we try to give back to the community a little bit and give you some just helpful hints that makes life a little easier. Sometimes on the internet they call them life hacks. I think that's dumb, so that would be a topic for another day. But recently I was reminded of this, and it's something that truly, y'all know the run through, the connecting line between segments weekly is you look in the mirror, you got to know yourself. You got to like know what, how to present in that moment, and just kind of, if you cannot be self-aware enough to read the room correctly and, make these decisions right, that's a problem. And apparently we're in a new pandemic. The president recently declared the previous pandemic over. I don't know what we were doing the last year because I thought it was over a long time ago. So I was like, I read that and it's like, oh, that's news. But anyway, we're into a new one. There's a new pandemic. And this pandemic is of epic proportions. It's already out of control. And it is men trying to wear fashionable pants. Yeah, like,
Wait a minute.
Woo!
I about threw up all over the floor.
No.
now there's a problem.
This is a pandemic, and I follow you, Josh.
Because
Yeah.
and especially in the dress clothes world, which there's been a lot of, and I've seen pictures that Misty has posted that may have some offenders in this particular category. But it's prom season, I guess, has just really sprung it into full attention of like wearing jogger pants as suit pants. I don't really understand it. Can you explain any of that?
I don't really know. I would say, I know he's talking about my son and his friends, but my son's prom was all the way down. There are some guys that are wearing.
When you can see a little ankle.
Yeah, you can see a little ankle, and they're wearing like loafers. My son, kind of the new thing also is to wear these, tennis shoes that match your suit. So my son went with a Johnny Cash look, all blacked out, but his shoes were black and white. His date's dress was black and white. Super cute. I'll have to pull it up and show Greg. But
He's really looking forward to it.
I know he can't wait. But that's why I've got to show him.
All right, so.
But it's just a new thing. I'm kind of here for it. Not the loafers and the capri pants.
Right.
I'm not here for that. But I do like popping a shoe for a little bit of swagger. I like that.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
I'll give you that. But then I'm going to take this a step further.
Uh-oh.
Is this I've noticed, especially in my profession, banking, there's a lot of people that have to wear dressier clothes. I do not in general. I have to, when the time calls for it, I have to wear a suit every so often. But I prefer a nice, I'm very old school with the still wear pleated pants. I'm not even into the flat front yet, so I'm not near advancing past the flat front to the. I seriously, and I see this in if you're downtown Abilene and you happen to be driving, people passing on the sidewalk, you will see it. You will see this, and it's this. They are almost joggers. I mean, they're tight. They're very tight.
And they're high.
And they're high.
They're waiting for the
it's
flood.
like the flood.
Yeah.
And then it makes it worse. And I mean, I got to shop in the plus size section, so I'm not like condemning anybody, But if you're carrying a few extra lbs and you try to put those pants on, you look like a pear on a set of toothpicks. Like you're not pulling it off.
Yeah.
You are not pulling it off.
I was just showing Greg this picture of some of the kids that went with Ethan, his friends, to prom. And yeah, it's an array of different dress for prom. And there are some ankles that I can see in that photo. Not my son. Let it be known it's not my son.
No, I agree.
But like I said, I can almost understand, the prom outfit where it's kind of, there's trends and everyone follows those trends,
Right.
and you do, and it's also not Met Gala-ish, but there's that aspect of everyone kind of pushes the envelope just a little bit. You want to be just a little more popped than the last guy,
You want to be remembered.
and who's dressed the best and all of that. But
at what point do you become a leader and not a follower? So you would never catch me in a pair of pants that look like the seams fiction to say uncle.
Yeah.
One, like sucking a marshmallow through a straw. But at what point does someone doing that, and I know exactly what you're talking about, the tight pants, the low ankles, no socks in the shoes. I don't want to be around that guy when he takes his shoes off.
Yeah, that's
And
gotta be
skinny
awful.
jeans. Can we talk about men wearing skinny
Well, and that's all part of the same.
I know.
The same vein.
But at what point do they personally think this looks good? I'm going to wear it.
That is
No, it's
exactly it.
because homeboy down the street's doing the same thing.
Right. When you think you're being trendy, but that's the irony of so much of the Zoomer generation. Everyone thinks they're being ironic or like they're like pushing the envelope, but you're not. You're just doing the same thing that your rebellion is the same rebellion as the guy next to you.
There should be an age limit on some of this. Like, I feel like, and I think I've got some contenders at bank where I'm like, those are straight up high waters. Like, just buy them a little bit longer, and they look great. They look nice. The person wearing it, they're dressed nice for work. But then they're a few inches. I'm like, did you not realize that when you got dressed this morning? Like, I just don't understand. Like, why? Or did you gain a little bit? I don't know. You pulled them up. I'm not really sure what's going on. But the dress absolutely crazy.
And I like my number one complaint in this. My number one thing that you really look at, and like I said, I carry a few lbs too many, but those clothes are specifically made for the models that you see on the magazine ad.
The plastic mannequin.
Yeah, like if you are 8 ounces heavier than that, you don't look good.
Like a busted can of biscuits.
And you extend that to 10 or 15 pounds, and it's like you're accentuating all the wrong and none of the right.
It looks like a busted can of biscuits.
Yes, exactly.
It's like nude tights. Do not, women, hear me now, babes. Do not, I don't care how skinny you are, do not wear a pair of nude tights. They're just not flattering on anybody.
That you can go a whole
Oh,
other
gosh,
way on
yes.
that. But yes, so everyone wants to look their best, and I'm sorry, sometimes the trend of the day is not what you look best in. So just keep that in mind as you get ready, because knowing is half the battle, and now
self-aware is the rest of it.
Self-aware is that is the key. That is the key. So now that we've wrapped that up, we're right at the end. We really don't have time to do another commercial break, but I do want to know, what are y'all's plans for watching the Kentucky Derby? What's your plans for that? Do you have any at all?
Not necessarily. I actually wanted to do Kentucky Derby party this year since we didn't go, because that's a big thing. I don't know if y'all realize that, but a lot of people have themed Kentucky Derby parties. They've dressed the part.
Right,
They've got the food, all the things. But I think we're just going to hang with some friends and just kind of have a chill weekend. Didn't get that party plan, so maybe next, like we keep talking about the Kentucky Derby, there's always next year. So but no, not any specific plans necessarily.
All right, Greg, you got any?
I'm going to be watching the TV for the wrong attire.
Okay.
We're going to see if we got some high waters at the Kentucky Derby.
I know
We're going to see if we see some high waters.
Yeah,
and I might just change the channel if we do.
Well, then be prepared.
And bright loafers, like hot pink loafers. You're going to see all of the bright
You will see
colors.
all of that, because the Kentucky Derby is like it's that prom thing.
Yes.
Like half of it is to have your perfect outfit and make
Y'all
sure
would
everyone
probably
sees
be
you.
embarrassed at what I would wear, because
Well, that's every day.
I'm going big.
You're dressed up like crisscross this morning. I mean,
You like it? I like it.
You got overalls on.
This is like casual Friday attire. But I would go, oh my gosh, all the bright colors, huge hat, yes. I would act like I was somebody at the Kentucky Derby.
What's the famous drink they have out there? The
mint julep.
Yeah, the mint julep. Yeah.
Yeah,
what does it taste like?
Well,
it's
it's not bourbon, because that's the official, Kentucky, they're known for their bourbon. Simple syrup, so sugar and mint.
You are educated in this.
Well,
have you had one?
One.
You have one, my dear.
I thought so.
That's all we can afford.
This one for $37.50 at a coffee cup.
$37.50 is like $3,700.
Yeah.
But so that there's a whole thing. If you're going to have a Kentucky Derby party, you need some mint juleps. I guess you could do them without the bourbon. I wanted to steer clear of that. The mint and sugar is good. So you got that. But yeah, see and be seen. But wear something nice. We have had Kentucky Derby parties in the past, and my wife and I talked about doing something. We just never did get around to it, like you were talking about. But I want to be in front of the TV because I want to see what happens and see the pomp and circumstance that goes up to that. We got the Rangers playing the Angels over the weekend, which is a big series. So the night game tonight and day games, I believe, on Friday or Saturday and Sunday. So to tune into. It's and the other thing we talked about this earlier. It's supposed to be 97 degrees tomorrow. So
Gosh, I know.
pushing a Hyundai. That at the first of the year when it starts getting in the 90s, you're like, and then.
And then it says, "Hold my beer." How about 1:15?
And then, because that's what I was about to say. You get to the end of July and into August, you'd be like, "It's 95. It's a heat break."
It's a cold front.
But that's the way it goes around here. So that's looking forward to that.
Speaking of the Kentucky Derby and being on the radio, can you give me your very best Kentucky Derby broadcast? They're coming out of the chute.
Oh man,
how does the guy do that?
I don't know. I can't talk that fast.
Basketball, football.
Yeah,
that guy is like, and coming around turn number one.
Yeah.
It's like Hodge Pack on the left, but the green on the what? Like, what are you saying? But you got to look at those horses, the numbers, know what the name of it is. You'd have to. I thought about that. You would have to sit there and memorize it. It would have to be completely memory. Mm-hmm. Number 2 horse is yellow, and its name is,
right. Yep.
Just.
And number 14 just threw a horseshoe.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Come on.
Exactly.
But I can't.
And the jockeys are like 90 pounds. So
yeah.
can never be a jockey.
More than 90 pounds when I was born.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened. Get off of me.
Sailed by that in the 3rd grade. Like, but
Yeah, they're just so tiny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, guys, it was a joy.
yeah, it
Setting
really
in
was.
once again. Hodge, we missed you regardless of what everybody else says. Thanks
We
for letting me come in and
did.
be a part of the Hodge Pack. Always love you guys and have fun coming up here.
Oh,
We
yeah,
appreciate
great.
you, Greg, so much.
It's the Hodge Pack every Friday morning, heard exclusively here on 106.9 The Country Giant. See you guys.
We survived.
Fucking trash on the text messages.
Apparently, I said, "Get on me, Josh," or something. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize I said that. Oops.
I like to get on Josh, is what it is.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, I didn't laugh.
I didn't even have the burrito today. And I didn't realize I said that. Did you really say that?
If it
I said
wasn't,
I'd like to get on
turn
Josh.
off the Facebook.
No, but I hit end, but I hit end stream. I don't know what else to do.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, get on Josh and her head was bobbing.
Golly!
I
I did. I said it. I'm gonna go.